All right, welcome back for part two here, folks. Example two is uh, some data that has been collected from a secondary source. This was a Statistics Canada thing. And the idea here is we've got a relationship between the age groups and the percent of people in that age group who have low self-esteem. So the idea here is, 13, almost 30, 12.9% of you folks, 15 to 19-year-olds, report having low self-esteem. And the idea here is provincial programs wish to target groups that have 10% of the population or higher that report low self-esteem. So big numbers here mean more people are reporting low self-esteem and would need some sort of support group, and they want to target groups less than 10. So I mean, one way would just say, okay, pick off all these ones that are bigger, but we've got age ranges here. So maybe it's 12-year-olds are okay, but 14-year-olds aren't, or whatever. So we're gonna come up with a model. What's nice about the graphing calculators here, folks, is these steps. All you have to do is follow along. So really, if you wanted to skip this video and just try it yourself in class, you're welcome to do that. I'm just going to go through it real quick myself. When you turn the calculator on, it could be in all sorts of states, but if you just follow the instructions, all will be well. So it hits stat and then edit, and it says enter the age midpoints in list one. Now notice I've got a bunch of junk in here from classes gone by, so I'm going to want to clear that out. And how I do that is I go and cursor up into the top and press clear and enter. Clear and enter. I'm going to do that so it looks all nice and dandy. And I can't put a range in here. So what I'm going to do to put into list one, this is going to be my X variable. I'm going to put in the midpoints. So what's the midpoint of 12 to 14? That's 13. 15 to 19 is 17, and so on. 22. Midpoint of 25 to 35 would be 30. 40, 50. Now the next one's kind of weird because older than 75 would be anybody that's older than 75. So what do we put in? Well, if I just follow the pattern from the first few pieces of data, it might make sense to put in 80, and that's what I'm going to put in, even though, it might be, there's people way older than that, and it's just a representative of that category. I think that's it, right? Yeah. All right. Back to my calculator, and then I put in my percents, and I'm going to put these in as a percent, not as a decimal. Although I could, I suppose. Just as I'm putting this in here, this is actually very much like data management. This is like a data management type example, and if you've taken data management already, MDM for you, you've already done stuff like this. And using technology to tell us about data that we've collected is a common theme in that course. 11.4. Okay, the data's in. So we entered midpoints into list one and percent into list two. Check. Hit second y equals to select stat plot. Second y equals, and that's that yellow stat plot menu here. Hit 1, so it wants us to select one of the plots, and then make it look like the screen shown. Okay, make it look like the screen shown. So plot 1 is on. Oh, it's not on yet, so I have to, what I do is move up to, having trouble with the, there we go. Trouble with the graphing calculator here. There we go. Now we're talking. Hit on and scatter plot. Notice that this would be the one where we did bar graphs or whatever, but we don't want to. We want to do a scatter plot. List 1 and list 2, and the mark is a little square like that. That's all good. Okay, so we made it look like that screen, and then it hits zoom 9, zoom, and then 9 or zoom stat. Yeah, zoom 9 is zoom stat, and then it does a scatter plot. I got something going on from classes gone by there, and you might too, because we didn't fix that. Probably in y equals, yeah, see it, y equals, I got some sort of trig thing going on there. So I'm going to clear that off, go back to my graph, and it should look nice. There's my scatter plot. Dandy. It says sketch the data. Now notice that we could have done that without a graphing calculator, right? You just get a piece of graph paper and you could have plotted that. But it's kind of nice to use technology. I'm going to put that in there so I know I have a scatter plot for later. Okay, perfect. Check. Use the TI-83 to generate a cubic equation. So notice that, you know, this maybe looks like some sort of cubic. I suppose I could do like a curve of best fit. It almost looks more like a parabola to me, perhaps. It starts high and ends low, but it's asking us to do a cubic equation and call this f at x. So now I'm just going to follow along the steps again. It says hit stat, cursor right to select calc. See, there's another menu, the calc menu. Then select 6, cubic regression. Cubic regression. And notice there's one for linear regression, quadratic regression, cubic regression, quartic regression, and so on. They want us to do this one, which is cubic. And it says we could hit enter twice to run the command. And there we go. And look at all this. And I suppose, like it says, we could write down this equation where A is this number here, this long number, B is this long number, and so on. We could write that down and put it in the y equals, but they've got a slick way for us to do this. It says hit y equals, okay. Next to y1, which I am right there, cursor is next to y1, hit bars, select 5 statistics. It says cursor right, select EQ for equation, and then it says hit 1 reg EQ. Hit 1 reg EQ. And look at all that. That's all the stuff that we saw on the screen without us having to type it all in. Now it's asked us to hit graph. And there's my cubic function of best fit. I'm going to copy that because that is gorgeous. Paste that in there. I suppose I could have just added that this curve to my sketch from A, but that's okay. Dandy. And there's our curve of best fit. Then it says use the TI-83 to solve f at x is greater than 10. So where is this function greater than 10? Well, notice that f at x is this equation, and 10 I can put in my graphing calculator as well. Where's 10? Well, I'm going to use a second. Right, the right side is 10, and hit graph. So now I've got an intersection point. I've got hit y and enter 10 next to y2, hit graph, did that. Use the second trace, which is the second calc menu, second calc, then follow intersect, then follow the on-screen instructions. So it wants us to know which curves we would like to have intersect. Y1, press enter there, and Y2, yeah, and it wants us to know a guess. Well, we've done this before. I'm going to go over here and get this point first. So that is the point 77.8. I'm going to actually copy that again too. Oops. Take screenshot. So, and then I'll label the rest. Edit paste. So I'll have that one, and then I'll go back and I need to get, looks like there's going to be two other points, one not on my screen, so I'm going to get those really quick. Second calc, intersect, and first curve, second curve, and then now I got a cursor, the little spider's moving back to get to the other point. And it doesn't have to be right on, but I'm going to get pretty close. There, 30.2. So this point here is 30.2. And I'm going to find there's going to be another one this way. I'm going to have to change my window settings so I can even see what I'm doing. So I'm going to hit window, and notice I need to go back in the X scale. This starts with 6-year-olds, but let's go back a little further. Let's go all the way back to babies. I don't think we're going to have to worry about babies having low self-esteem, but I want to be able to see what's going on in my graph. Right there. Hopefully I can see that on my window. First curve, second curve, and I want to go way, 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 way back so I can get this first intersection point. Point 1. So it is babies that we have to worry about, I guess. And this is point 1. Now, so what does that mean? Where is the f at x greater than 10? That's all of these, this part of the graph. So the solution set is between 0.1 and 30.2, and also after 77.8. So what does this mean? The programs should target young people, youngish people, right? 0 to 30-year-olds, and seniors over 78. And that's what that means. Now, that's it. And long lesson today, I realize, folks, but homework's fairly short. I'll bet you even get started on the review. The last thing that we have, last bit of business for this chapter before it is review and test time, is revisiting rate of change again. And actually, we start our discussion on rate of change with this example, this self-esteem example. So if you've followed along with the graphing calculator, you might want to set that one aside. You might want to keep that calculator handy, because we're going to pick it up with tomorrow's lesson with this first example, this self-esteem example. Okay? That's it.